Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're talking about a battle, a really pivotal one, where the outcome of an entire war came down to the courage of just 9 soldiers. 9 soldiers against a whole brigade.
So how on earth did they do it? Well, to find out, we have to go back to the First Indo-Pak War and unpack the incredible story of the Battle of Naushera. It's a tale of strategy, sure, but more than that, it's about sheer guts and sacrifice.
Okay, so to really get why this one fight was so important, we need to set the scene. We're talking about the winter of 1947-48, and honestly, the situation for the Indian Army was looking pretty desperate.
So here's the timeline. Pakistan-backed militias invade Kashmir. India jumps in to defend it, but things are not going well. The momentum is totally against them. And then, bam! By Christmas Eve 1947, the super-strategic town of Jhangar falls. And that meant the next domino to fall was almost certainly going to be Naushera. It was right in the crosshairs.
And let me tell you, losing Naushera was not an option. It would have been absolutely catastrophic for the whole region. So the town had to be held no matter what. And the job of pulling off this nearly impossible task, it fell to one pretty remarkable commander and his men.
So let's talk about the man in charge of holding that critical line. His name was Brigadier Mohammad Usman.
Now, the context here is absolutely fascinating. You see, Brigadier Usman was a Muslim officer, and during partition, he had chosen to serve India. So him being in command here, it wasn't just a military thing. It was this huge, powerful symbol of the secular identity of a brand new nation.
And he wasn't just a symbol. He was a brilliant commander. I mean, truly brilliant. He had this knack for seeing exactly where the enemy would likely attack, which let him set up his forces for this perfect defense. And the crucial part, he led from the front. He was tireless, always moving to wherever the fighting was thickest to rally his troops in person. That kind of courage is infectious.
But you know, the moment that would define this entire battle, it wasn't going to happen in some command tent with maps and radios. No, it was all going to come down to what happened on a windswept ridge inside a tiny outpost defended by just a handful of guys.
Just 9. That's it. 9 men were holding the very front line picket on a place called Jhangar Ridge. And this little post? It was about to take the full, crushing force of the main enemy attack. The man in charge of these 9 soldiers was a non-commissioned officer, Naik Yadunat Singh.
Okay, so the attack came in 3 waves, 3 separate, ferocious waves. The strategy was simple, really. Just throw bodies at this tiny post until it breaks. Overwhelm them with sheer, brutal numbers.
So that first wave hits, and Naik Yadunat Singh, he leads his tiny force so skillfully that the attackers, who vastly outnumbered them, are completely thrown off. They actually have to retreat in confusion. But it came at a cost. 4 of his 9 men were already wounded.
Then comes the second wave, even bigger and more determined than the first. By now, all the defenders are wounded, including Singh himself. When his Bren gunner goes down, Singh doesn't hesitate. He grabs the machine gun. The enemy is literally at the walls of the post, and he just opens up. His fire was so devastating, he personally broke the attack. I mean, he turned what looked like certain defeat into a victory all by himself.
All right, now the third wave. By this point, every single one of his men is out of the fight. He is completely alone. Wounded, outnumbered, what does he do? He grabs his Sten gun, runs out of the bunker, and charges the oncoming enemy. The attackers were so shocked, so completely stunned to see this one guy charging them that they broke and ran. And it was right there, in that final, incredible act of bravery, that he was hit and fell.
Think about that. That single defiant charge from one man saved the post. Saving that post saved the ridge, and saving that ridge saved the entire town of Naushera. It was the moment the tide of the whole battle turned.
The final result was just astonishing. Brigadier Usman's overall defense, which was anchored by that insane heroism on Jhangar Ridge, ended up inflicting over 1,000 casualties on the attackers, and the Indian losses, fewer than 100. It was an absolutely stunning, lopsided victory.
And this wasn't just about holding a town. This victory completely flipped the script for the entire war. It gave the Indian Army the momentum to go from defense to offense. They launched a counterattack, and just about a month later, they retook that key town of Jhangar that they had lost earlier.
So, okay, that's the battle, but why are we still talking about it today? I mean, it was fought so long ago. What is its lasting legacy?
Well, you could say this battle was like a crucible, something that forged the identity of the brand new Indian Army. The kind of unbelievable bravery we saw here helped create these traditions of valor and sacrifice that really became the bedrock of the Army's identity. It's an ethos that you can still see today.
And for that ultimate sacrifice, Nayak Yadunath Singh was posthumously awarded the Param Veer Chakra. Now that is India's highest possible military honor for valor, and he was one of the very first to ever receive it, setting a standard for courage that is, well, almost impossibly high.
You see, the stories of heroes like Nayak Yadunath Singh and great leaders like Brigadier Usman, they became more than just chapters in a military history book. They became these foundational myths, these core stories for the new nation. They helped weave ideas like courage, selflessness, and duty right into the fabric of India's national identity.
So, in the end, the Battle of Naushera is so much more than just a story about tactics and victory. It's a really profound story about the human spirit. And it leaves us all with a pretty powerful question, doesn't it? What is it, deep down, that inspires ordinary people to do such extraordinary things? What makes someone, in that final moment, choose to charge forward, all alone, against an entire army?